Hey everybody, this is CPR43 with a brand new update for you guys. So I'm sorry I've been pretty much staggering these updates due to a very busy summer, I guess. This is probably like the busiest summer I've ever had. One thing keeps happening after the other. It's either been, tackling these models. I had to go help a family member move and we're still in the process of doing that. Uncle moving from Edmonton to Calgary, so it's a pretty big thing right now. Um, and also all these trips that we've had planned, and then these little day trips we're also having. So, all this adds up, So, trying to get these updates out whenever possible, and finally I have a chance to do that. Pretty much this summer you have a big break from my gums that keep on flapping. So anyways, I'm going to get started here. I've done a whole bunch of work on these three GMD models, and I will let you guys know what I've done so far. I've got big news for the GMD1 specifically. It's something that I'm very proud to talk about, so I'm really looking forward to get to that. But first of all, I got to start off with the GP9 here. This has been the big one pretty much the last 2 years, so I'll show you guys what I've got finished. So starting on this side of the unit here, I'm going to focus in on that so that way we can take a better look. So I cut off the fuel tank skirting here. I had left this little spot right here where the fuel cap is. And then I also had to file and, kind of cut some of the fuel tank out here. You can kind of see that there's that indent. It should be a little bit deeper on both sides, but that's where I'm leaving it right now. I might work on it later, but it's kind of half and half. I also did a little bit of work on filling this in here, so yeah, just trying to get some sprucing up, I guess you can say. So pretty much this is prototypical, and I still have to do the other side, but right now it looks pretty good. And then we're going to move on to the front of the unit briefly. So I got this handrail on, which is a crossover handrail. This is prototypical for the unit as well. And also I have some detail parts on order to replace the cable pockets that I scratch built last summer using styrene. So you can't exactly see those because of the light, but that's just kind of how it looks like. I also cut off the coupler trip pin here, and that is basically making room for a pilot block that I plan on putting in, both front and back, but that'll be after I get those detail parts in. And also, speaking of the coupler, I actually have separated the coupler boxes from the chassis and mounted them to the shell instead. So see if I can get this. So this is for the rear coupler right here, and I had to chop that off. So it's a metal piece, and I'm just going to stick it up onto the GP9, and that way I have the couplers attached to the shell instead of the chassis, and that way I can actually do some more detailing and not have to worry about those couplers on the chassis. So this is what the other side looks like. I still have the fuel tank skirting on here, but I did get the step well finished up pretty easy. I still have to do the other side though, but that's the first rear step well finished. I just have to paint it. So, and then also these where I cut off the molded footboards, and I'll have those footboard parts hopefully available soon. And that's pretty much it with the GP9. Not much else to talk about with it. Now we're moving on to the GMD1. So I'm just going to skip right over to the big news about this. I do have some detailing finished on it, so I'll get that covered right after. But basically I had posted the photos of my detailing on a Facebook group, and one of the members had saw that I guess, I did a great job on it and so on. He had asked if he had offered to weather it for me, free of cost, except I pay for the postage, for getting it shipped over to his residence. And basically, he's going to weather it, and he's a professional weathering person. But he's a professional at weathering, and he'll do it prototypically. And this guy, in case you're wondering, he's actually recently been, I guess, commissioned, you can say, by Rapido to actually do a exclusive limited run of custom weathered models. Now, Rapido doing that, I mean, it's something big for this guy. So I'm very honored to have him weather it for me. This, of course, will be the first time I've actually ever shipped a locomotive off for something like weathering to be done. So this is big for me as well. And I can't wait to have it finished up. This guy is going to do it prototypically, like I said, and he's going to have all the fading and stuff like that, the chip paint and everything, including the grime and the dirt along the bottom and the rust and everything. So I am really looking forward to doing this and having this finished, and I can't wait to ship it out. Of course, I still have to figure out everything that you have to do to get this to work. So anyways, to the detailing. So I did the sandboxes. Now I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see that, but let's see here. So you can kind of see there the sandbox that I did. These are were put on when they were rebuilt to the 1100s. And of course, 1063 was one of the units that got retrucked with the A1A axles, and then also it got placed back to 1063. But it still kept the sandbox, which is mounted right here. I also got the grab irons there and everything. I also added a decal there, and the same thing on this side here. Filler caps were actually cut off from a Details West horn, so got a little bit creative there. And then the back here, I also added filler caps, so you can see there. And then I also added a grab iron. Filler caps were off of the Bachmann DDA 40X, so pretty cool. Again, I'm really looking forward to having this weathered, and hopefully it'll be weathered up by the time I get another update out. Maybe it'll be still gone when I get the next update out, but I don't know when the next update out will be, so it just depends. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Finally, the GP38 here, which not a whole lot with it, but some big news in its own right, so I'll show you guys that. So I got this crossover grab iron here as well, which was the same on the GP9. And then the big news right here is the fuel tank, which I cut down from its original 36-gallon size, which was like right to the trucks. And I cut it down to about 2,000 gallons, or 2,400 gallons. Basically, it's the prototype for the CP units. And yeah, basically had to chop some metal off, had to relocate the mounts for the shell, and then I had to cut the fuel tank itself. So a lot of work, a lot of metal cutting, no doubt, and finally have that finished up. So looking more closer to prototype here, so that's what it looks like. So that is pretty much it, guys. I've got nothing else to talk about. Pretty much more flapping of my gums, I guess. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this update, and I'm looking forward to getting the next update done. Hopefully that'll be after I get the GMD one weathered and brought back. So really looking forward to that. So that is pretty much it, guys. I've got nothing else to talk about. Have a great summer, and I'll see you in the next video. This is CPR43, and good luck.